Sure, you award price and after things. Okay, fine. Can I get it? Oh.
Very beginning.
Sure.
Okay.
Here. Check. And check. I'm sure. Make sure. It's on my mom and family's trying.
Thank you.
Party. That's Sunday. Just told me we didn't know. Straight out. That's what they said. That's she like. And then I like they told me here it has said. So she had this about yeah. Well, there's a but she was great.
I bet.
Yeah.
So Saturday. Yeah. Great.
It's Saturday maybe got it.
Good.
I
I
think it is.
We have people celebrate.
Yeah.
Like very green. Like with what?
We do
The big lock ones.
we do again. So maybe it's 16.
I haven't. Some years I know.
We usually do games at least.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't say it. I heard this stuff. Yeah. So we got it.
Really hard because the idea of marriage is so very deep into everything.
Yeah.
And it can't come in. Hey, sorry. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I think we're Martio.
Gonna be out Mark.
That's a weird thing to the two. So it's like totally legal.
So.
Okay. I want to welcome everyone being here. Feel free to use a mask if so, or if you're immunocompromised in any way. We do our best to follow CDC guidelines. And welcome to our Arlington County Democratic Committee meeting tonight. All are welcome. At the Arlington Democrats, we seek to be an open and inclusive community. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We've got a packed agenda. We have a few of our elected officials are going to speak first. Then we have a few voting items and then some candidate announcements. And then you're really in luck tonight because we'll have our holiday reception once all the business gets done.
Hello.
So without any further ado, a couple announcements. So once again, I want to thank all the volunteers that helped in this year's election. It ended up being a great day in Virginia, I think, or a pretty good day. We held on to two of our congressional seats that we won back in 2018. Sorry to see Gloria did not prevail, but we did prevail last night in the special election. Will bring about enormous change in the U.S. Senate as Democrats are put in charge of all the committees in the Senate side. I want to thank Carol Burnett, Mary Detweiler specifically for working really hard to get all of our signs up once the election was over. I went out, I think Thursday morning to pick up my sign route and they were already gone. And I reached out to Carol and said, oh yeah, we got those. So I'm still seeing some straggler Karina Lipsman signs out there. So we're really proud of the work we do at the community. And then just a little bit more of that operation. But this Friday, there's going to be a rally for Starbucks workers at Courthouse Plaza. It's at 2100 Clarendon Boulevard. Encourage all who are able to please attend. I think we have a couple of speakers in the house. JD, you're going to be there, I believe. Is that right? Very good. I think Senator Bola possibly is going to be there. Congressman Don Beyer. It's going to be a really nice event. And then the AFL-CIO is buying pizza as soon as it's over. Next door at the pizza place. So hope to see everyone who's able to attend.
But no Starbucks coffee.
No, so they're not on strike now. They had a one-day strike, but they're not currently on strike. So you can actually go in and get a Starbucks coffee and express your solidarity if you choose to do so with the baristas at the courthouse Starbucks. And then, lest we forget, second Saturday breakfast will be the following day, Saturday at 9 o'clock, 9:30. Please come out. We'll have our General Assembly delegation there, kind of giving you a preview of what they see in the upcoming session. Don't want to miss that. So please come out to Bus Boys and Poets for the legislative preview. All right, now we've got some elected officials that want to come up and speak, and I think first, I'd like to welcome up to the stand Sheriff Beth Harper.
Let's see if I can do this without crying. I've given a speech or some version of it several times in the last couple of days. I made a commitment to the sheriff's staff and sheriff's office that I would let them know what my plan was before I put it out there to the general public. So Monday, they do annual roll calls every year, so 3 on Monday, to today. So here goes. I haven't made it through without getting emotional. First, I want to acknowledge my husband who is sitting in the back of the room, and I told him I'm not, looking at him for talk because I know I'll get emotional if I do. And 22, first of all, I've been with the sheriff's office for 36 years, January the 20th. And a long time ago. And 22 plus years as the Arlington County Sheriff. This has not been an easy decision, but I think the right decision for me at this point in time in my life. And I'll talk a little bit about sort of the fact that I've been working my entire life since I was like 12, but I've loved every single day of every single minute of serving and working with Arlington County Sheriff's Office, with the men and women that have worked there and have come and gone because they retired, they've left, and that still work there. And in particular, the men and women that are working there today, because they do yeoman's work every hour of every day to ensure the safety and security of our jail, our courts, and this community. And so I thank them for helping ensure that I think I've been successful because of all the work that they do every day. And I want to make sure that I'm very clear about that. When Tom Faust, many of you probably have no idea who Tom Faust is, but he was the sheriff before me, and he came to me after he'd gotten elected and said, I am going to leave, I'm going to retire, I'm going to the National Sheriff's Association, and I want you to run for sheriff. I'm like, are you insane? I have like a less than 3 and 6-year-old at home. I went home and talked to Joel about it, and the first thing he said to me is, you have to do it, the opportunity may never come around again. And so from day one, he has supported me, and our kids have supported me all the way through this. Kenneth and Stephen, like I said, they're now 25 and 28, and so they've grown up with me in the sheriff's office. For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, I've served as the sheriff of Arlington County. Not ever, from the time I became sheriff, was I not connected with the office, no matter where I was, no matter what I was doing. And I can honestly say to you, I will not miss the millions of emails that I feel like I get every single day, every single hour. And that is the one thing that I can honestly say that I will not miss when I retire on January the 6th, Friday, January the 6th, 2023. As I said, I've worked since I was probably 12 years old. I was a babysitter back when you could actually babysit when you were like 11, 12, 13 years old. I'm not sure if you can today, but I got my first job when I was 16. I worked 1 and 2 jobs, putting myself through college with no financial assistance. I worked my way through college. And so I then left and became, working in the governor's office for 2 years and in the sheriff's office. So I've worked literally my entire life. And when people ask me, what do you plan to do when you retire on January 6th? The answer is nothing. Nothing. I plan to purge a house I've been living in for 30 years and travel. Joel's got travel plans from here to Timbuktu once a month, and I'm going to help the next candidate, next sheriff of Arlington County, Jose Quiros, who's going to get up here and talk to y'all in a minute. For the Code of Virginia, the county board will make a decision whether they call for a special election or not, but for the code, the highest ranking person in the office that is eligible to hold office and seek office is Jose Quiros as the chief deputy. And so he will become the chief deputy. And if they call for a special election, which, this election is up in November, that's up to the board, but I don't particularly see that happening. If it does, it would be an unusual thing that I've seen happen across the Commonwealth. So, as I said, this has not been an easy decision, but I feel like it's the right decision for me at this time. When I became sheriff of Arlington County, I was the first female county sheriff in Virginia. And while extremely blessed to have had the opportunity to put some cracks in the glass ceiling, it makes me exceedingly happy that today we have 9 female sheriffs across the Commonwealth of Virginia, and they span from Salem, Virginia, to Henrico, to Richmond, to Hampton Roads, to Hampton, Fairfax County, and I've had a great opportunity to get to know all of the women and It's been an honor to be a small part of history, for Arlington and for the Commonwealth of Virginia. I came from and Joel will tell you all, much to his horror some days, a very strong lineage of women. My mother raised 4 kids by herself. My grandmother was widowed when she had 3 kids at home, the youngest one being 7 years old. And I have 4 sisters, lots of aunts that all have been part of helping shape who I am and make me the hardworking, determined human being that I am. Sometimes really hard-headed. But at any rate, and I also had great mentors in Tom Faust and Jim Dongles who served before me, and I had the privilege of working with them. And again, the men and women of the Sheriff's Office have been a huge part of how I've been so successful since July 8th of 2000. I also would be remiss if I did not talk about the people in this room and the Democratic Party and Frank and Larry and Dave Bell and Jim Almond and many, many Democrats and elected officials that helped me when I ran for office. And I remember I was terrible. I was terrified to stand up in front of the room to talk. And Frank and Larry pulled me aside when I was done and he said, "You'll get better at this." Thank you, Frank. I really appreciated that. But at any rate, you know, to all of you that have helped me in any way, shape, or form in any campaign that I've run over the last 20 years, I want to say thank you. And more importantly, for what you do every single day to help ensure that this county is run by good Democrats that care about our community and the people in our community. So thank you all for that. And I'm not going anywhere. As I told Charlie Conrad, you know, I'm still going to around volunteering. I am going to focus on the sheriff's race because I do believe Jose Curas is the right person to be the next sheriff of Arlington County. And I'm excited to help him over the next several months when he runs for sheriff. And again, 22 plus years, 36 years with the office. I thank you all for the opportunity that you've given me. And I look forward to continuing to be here hanging around and not following 1,000 emails a day. Thank you.
And Sheriff Arlen, thanks for your 30+ years service. We have someone else in the room who would like to speak briefly to this long and valued career with Arlington County. And I want to welcome up Clerk of the Court, Paul Ferguson.
Thank you, Steve. Don Byer was supposed to be here, Beth, to laud your past, not just as sheriff, but as a Democratic activist. And so I'm filling in. I know he would prefer it would have been him since he's seen me every day at work. As the clerk of the court, I work directly with Sheriff Beth Arthur daily. She said things she's not going to miss. We have 5 a.m. bad weather day calls. So if you don't change your cell, Beth, I might forget and call you by mistake next time there's bad weather. I met Beth when I joined the Democratic Committee in 1988, and I was a campaign manager for a congressional campaign. Back then, we had a Republican Congressman, Frank Wolf, and we only got 34% of the vote. So maybe I wasn't that great of a campaign manager. And decided to go to law school. But anyway, I wanted to make sure that we got our materials printed with a union buck, and there was no union printer in Arlington. And so I was asking everyone, what do I do? Because I feel like this is something that's important. Everyone said, go talk to Beth Arthur. She works for Governor Rob. She works in the sheriff's office. She'll figure it out for you. And yes, we did. She was a young Democrat with me back in the 80s. And then a little bit in the 90s. We were still young Democrats then too. But I can tell you that working with her day in and day out, she is not just admired in the Arlington courthouse for the job that her office does, but statewide. She has been a president of her association. She's an innovator as far as things that jail management, how it's run, and she's really beloved by her staff. So she is a Democratic activist. She worked on numerous campaigns over the years, too many to list here, but she was very connected in the state, working for Governor Rob and Governor Belials, I believe, too. Not Belials, just Rob. Okay. Well, you were probably active in Governor Belials and Governor Wilder's campaign, from my memory. So anyway, we're glad that you're sticking around, Beth, because you have a lot of knowledge regarding campaigns, and we plan to put that into good use in future years for the Arlington Democratic Party. Congratulations on a job well done.
And Sheriff, if we could get you back up to the front of the room briefly, we have a token of our appreciation for your 30+ years of service.
And I did help Don Byer when he ran for lieutenant governor and governor, so.
A
few years.
And you were ACDC sergeant at arms.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
A ceramic mug from local ceramics artist Stacy Snyder. So a piece of Arlington art. Hope you will use that and enjoy it in your retirement.
Thank you.
Next, would like to welcome up School Board Member Barbara Canaday.
Wow, thank you, Steve, and good evening, Arlington Democrats. How are you? I can't say what an honor it is for me to be part of this opening part of the agenda among these amazing stalwart Democrats. Sheriff, congratulations. Tom Faust and you came to my door, knocked my door when you were first running, and you had my vote then and ever since. Really, really pleased. Thank you so much for your service. Well, this month, my service on the Arlington School Board comes to an end. I'm a huge believer that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose. And as my colleagues well know, I'm a believer in the importance of sustainability in public service. And so it's with a great deal of contentment and excitement that I thank Bethany Sutton and all of you for ensuring that the Arlington School Board remains in good hands in 2023. Thank you all for everything you've done. Thank you so much, Bethany, taking on this very important. Well, I'm proud of many things regarding my service on the school board. What I'm most proud of at the end of the day is that I brought a team mindset to the job. It's always about being stronger together. Today, as we move forward from the pandemic, I believe we're building back strong and making Arlington Public Schools better than ever. We've invested in mental health, school climate, equity, and inclusion. We led in supporting our transgender students, and we continue to stand by them. We've improved our reading and math programs, expanded STEM and the arts. We built over 6,000 new seats, installed solar power. We approved collective bargaining. We are ranked #1 in Virginia as the best place to teach, and we will support our teachers as they continue to teach all of our students our full, inclusive, true history. There is more to do to be the very best we can be, but we are in a good place to continue our path forward. We have an outstanding superintendent who believes in supporting every student and knowing them by name, strength, and need. We have an excellent, democratically endorsed school board. And we have a community anchored by so many strong Democrats in this room and beyond that believes in and supports our public schools. In the words of our president, there is nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. I will close using the same words I used in my first speech to the Arlington Democrats and have used ever since, lightly revised, that you in this room are my friends, political like minds, and champions for making Arlington and Arlington Public Schools the best that they can be. I have been honored to have your support and I hope I've done you proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara, and we look forward to you sticking around also. Next, I want to welcome up Commissioner of the Revenue, Ingrid Maroy.
Thank you, Steve, and good evening, Democrats. I hope everybody can see me. I don't know who's shorter, the sheriff or me. Well, always, I am. I'm not here for a farewell speech because this is not a farewell, but I do wanted to let you know this, that it has been an honor to be your elected Commissioner of Revenue for the last almost 20 years. But after almost 28 years in the county's constitutional office system, I've decided not to stand for re-election next year. I've had a great run serving Arlington County's residents first as Deputy Treasurer for 8 years under famous Treasurer Frank O'Leary, and since 2004 as Commissioner of Revenue. It's time for me to hand over the management of the office to a new person, and you will hear from that person later on. When I wrote my program of initiatives, it was called The Program, and I even had a song for it, for my first campaign in 2003, I did not realize that the employees of the Commissioner's office were so eager to implement as much of the program as possible. Today, we have accomplished close to 100% of the promises that we made, because I inherited an office that consisted of committed, motivated staff members who were ready to take on new challenges and move the office into the 21st century. And together we turned the office into a highly functional, high-tech, customer-focused organization. I want to thank Arlingtonians, first of all, the voters, for putting their trust in me by voting for me 5 or 6 times, and the county board and the county manager for their support all these years. My employees, and of course, my family, especially my husband Gary, who's not here because he doesn't like to come out to meetings, and my twin sister Judith, who campaigned with me throughout the years, along with those Democratic activists who worked on my campaigns. When I first ran in 2003, it was a bit, I had an enormous opponent in Margot Horner, who many of you know. So it was an uphill battle for me, and my sister, my twin, she didn't knock on doors for me, okay? So I don't think that she did that because she said, no, I'm not gonna do that. But she did campaign with me with my guitar and my campaign songs, and that has helped a great deal. So I'm very grateful for her participation in my campaigns. And finally, I just wanted to say this, no, Jerry and I are not moving away. We're going to stay in Arlington. I know you hear me talk about going to Florida all the time, every year. But first of all, like I said, it's not a farewell because I won't be retiring until January 1st, 2024. This will be my first retirement day. So I have one more full year of service in office. And secondly, Arlington is home and will remain home. We will continue to host events at our house, the Obama House on Obama Street in South Arlington, to support our favorite Democratic candidates and the Arlington Democratic Party. So I hope to see many of you on the campaign trail for our nominated and endorsed candidates. And thank you all for your support over the years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, and thank you for continuing to generously offer your home for canvas launches and yard sign staging and all the wonderful things that you have helped us with in the past. Let's see, next on the next, got a couple officer appointments, but first let me take a point of privilege because I have not recognized the elected officials in the room yet. I do want to recognize State Senator Barbara Pavola. Deputy Board Members, Libby Garvey in the back of the room. Recently re-elected Matt People, Ramsey. And of course, we've heard from Ingrid Leroy, Sheriff Beth Arthur, Barbara Cannon. We also have Clerk of Court Paul Ferguson with us. And how can I forget Commonwealth's Attorney Marissa Degani Tapia. I would also, let's see, I know I'm missing somebody. Treasurer Carla De La Pava. Thank you for being here. We will be hearing from Carla shortly, so Carla, thank you for being here. And I would be remiss not to recognize my predecessor, former chair, Jill Cayazzo in the back of the room. All right, so we do have two new officer appointments. Samantha Lee Perez in the front of the room. Samantha has been helping us with comms, and now we're in the meetings. So I have to make sure that she does not want to stop doing the meetings, but she will be helping in a new, currently an outreach position for Vice Chair Communications. We're going to be talking a little bit later about moving that to comms, but we'll hear about that later. And then comms Vice Chair of Analytics, Trevor Frazier. If you were on the last couple of steering meetings, Trevor did some phenomenal analytics for us during the campaign season. So happy to see him move to a Vice Chair position. Do I have a motion to approve? Oh, thank you, Charlie. Jack, second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you so much, Samantha, Trevor, wherever you are. Congratulations. All right, first on the voting agenda, last month we had a call to action for drop boxes. As you know, we lose one of our seats on the electoral board at the end of the year. Matt Weinstein will be stepping off the electoral board. Kim Phillip will be our remaining member, and a Republican will be appointed to the electoral board because Ben Youngkin is currently governor. So one of the suggestions that come from the Republican side is that they look at the number of drop boxes we have around the county. We currently have 9. Reasonable cost in our estimation, and not any risk to the security of voting. So where they would like to reduce the number of drop boxes, we had a call to action last month saying that no, we don't want to do that, and this is a resolution. So it's a little bit different. Something the committee votes on, has the imprimatur of the whole committee on it. So we do want to take this formal step and make sure that we ratify our opinion in this regard.
I move that we adopt the resolution as submitted.
Second. Bob Platt first, I think Liz Morgan, I saw a second, not Carol Burnett. And of course, everyone got the text of it, happy to read it if you want. But all the various reasons that we believe in this resolve that the Arlington County Democratic Committee supports maintenance of all 9 drop boxes currently in use and oppose efforts to reduce the number of drop boxes available to Arlington voters. All those in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations. Unanimous consent. All right, next on our agenda are the rules for the 2023 school board endorsement process. We did have copies of the rules over on the side of the room. Hopefully everyone picked one up if they needed one, or you did review them if all committee members should have gotten them over the last week several times in their email. We will have a discussion, but Bob, I believe you want.
I move that we adopt the rules as distributed.
Is there a second?
So second.
Happy to open this to discussion if there are any questions on the rules. We did run this through steering. And steering made the same recommendation. Yes, sir.
Michael Beer, just a clarification, aren't there 2 seats up available for this? And is it going to be using proportional ranked choice voting or not?
So there's 1 seat up. We have not heard from the incumbent. So no definite determination what's going to happen there, but regardless, we do want to have the rules in place so that anyone who wants to run will know what the process is at the earliest time of the year. And if there is more than 2 candidates filing, we will use ranked choice voting, not the proportional.
That would be for something like the hair system.
We only have 1 seat.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Now, we did earlier this year, a very extensive process with respect to the school board caucus. And we are maintaining all of the changes that we adopted earlier this year in an effort to have as fair and open and equitable process as possible. The changes we were able to make earlier this year. So we have expanded voting locations and times, elimination of the filing fee, no winnowing provisions. So previously it was in the rules that if you did not win the caucus, you would commit not to run in the general election. We've taken that out. Will remain up to the candidate to determine what they do in that case. Expanded community outreach and expanded translation services. We came up with, and then the last 2 are not in the rules, but were 2 of the things that I was really proud of the work that the committee did last year. Is we came up with a really nice piece, telling people about the caucus process, promoting the process, and encouraging people to come out and vote, why they should come out and vote. That we were going to distribute specifically in communities where we thought maybe people were less familiar with the process. So we look forward to executing on that plan. We weren't able to do any of this this year because we ended up just having 1 candidate. So we look forward to executing on that plan this year. Yes, sir.
Was there thought given to reinstate the electronic voting that was highly successful back a couple of years ago? And do we have data that supports that these steps will actually dramatically improve voter participation as we committed to when we voted to continue the endorsement process a year ago?
So I did extensively look at the online voting earlier this year. The voting that we did in 2019 or 2020, we did with the benefit of a $60,000 grant, which we are not likely to replicate. So financially, we're just not able to do online voting the way we did that one particular year. As convenient as it was, you're absolutely right. You're not wrong on that point. We just don't have the funds to do it. With respect to whether or not this will dramatically increase voter participation, we're going to have to find out. We're going to have to see how these extra steps actually work, how they function. Will they work? I hope they do. I remain an optimist in every instance, so I hope they have an impact. And if they don't, we're happy to go back to the drawing table. The conversation never stops. We want the most fair, the most accessible method of voting available. And quite frankly, I think we would be happy if we were able to take back the General Assembly to maybe see one day that we could have primaries for school board candidates. Have to win the governorship too, yeah. So that's not going to happen in a year's time, but it's my personal hope speaking for myself and not officially for the committee. Andrew, please.
$60,000 doesn't sound like a lot, given all the $380 million we just spent on the last senatorial election. Should we have a fundraiser or have a kitty and maybe see if we can fund it ourselves?
Certainly, so we do, all year long, and 60,000 was about what, we raised through our joint campaign committee on an annual basis. So it's what we have to spend on everything. Our Roosevelt Obama Society pays the rent on the office, I think roughly. So what, the rest of it comes from the joint campaign. So to us, it's a lot of money. To politics writ large, no, it's a drop in the bucket. You're exactly right.
That's what interesting. Some of the, it's fun, you know.
And appreciate the comment. And Bob,
Shouldn't we point out that these rules, unlike past rules, call for a full day of voting on Sunday, 2 hours on a weeknight, and another full day of voting on a Saturday. So this is the most voting we've ever done in the school board caucus.
right, thank you, Bob. Yeah, it's almost double the amount of voting that we've done at previous caucuses.